Okay, so for today's session, we're going to be able to plan an independent ICT project. So our indicative content for today, we have to be able to plan an independent project. We have to find what are the key steps for executing a project. Then we have to look into project management principles, project plan, project team roles, and lastly, project management softwares, which we introduced yesterday. So as you come to understand and find the key steps which are going to be required for our project, we have looked into them yesterday. We have introduced them. Where we spoke about the life cycle of our project from the end, where we explained our project as have end and starting date and the ending date. So we have to look into vision. So we have to create a vision for our project with a plan vision, where we can now describe the objectivities that have to be achieved for completing. So by creating the objectivities and the list of things that we have to do to achieve our milestone will be now one of our important key steps to follow. So as we explained yesterday, there is a specific life cycle that has to be followed, where we'll have initial phase, which is going to where we're going to have an initial project, where our project will now start to take shape and have a purpose, a scope. Then we will now look into planning, where we have to figure it out what we're going to achieve and how we're going to do this, and also the time frame and what are going to be the risk of managing our project. Then we have monitoring, controlling, and executing, where we're just going to ensure that there is good quality and we are respecting our milestone and our plans that have been set through our Gantt chart, or for instance, our development plan. And then we have closure, where we now have various reports, and we can now see if the project has been successfully achieved, or it failed, or maybe it has not been done within the time frame that we estimated. So when it comes to understanding some key steps, we also need to look into focus strategies, where I do know there is a lot of examples where companies have been using focus strategies, where we simply targeting an audience. So say, for instance, let's look into some big brands, for instance, like Gymshark, which I do believe many people know nowadays what Gymshark are, which are a massive company for gym, clothing, and many other brand activity. So what they did is, when they started the business, they used a lot of data analysis, where by launching the product, they started to look into who were the customers, what type of age group, what type of range, and by gathering all this useful data, they were able to create an effective strategy to grow the brand and become what they are right now. And as you can see by the definition, strategy just going to allow the business to determine a specific market which they have to target in order for them to grow and improve as a business. Also, we need to take consideration of stakeholders, which are going stakeholders that are involved in the project. So, as we all know, stakeholders are every single person or groups, organization, which are going to be impacted, not just financially, but with also other different reasons by the management of the company. Say, for instance, we work for Gymshark. We are employees at Gymshark. Any decision made by the operational managers or by the project managers can now impact the whole company revenue, and it will also impact our customers, not just the employees, because as you can see, stakeholders are every single person that are involved in the business. So to develop an appropriate management strategies for it to be effective, we have to always have to engage with our stakeholders in any project decision and even execution. So a couple of steps that has to be done when we look into project stakeholder management. We have to identify all of our stakeholders. Who are these peoples that are involved in the business? Ensuring that all the team members are involved in stakeholder engagement activities. So we have to create activities for them in order to be involved and feel part of the team. Also, you have to review the stakeholder community, regulatory, consulting with stakeholders, capturing the value of effective engagement. So I just wanted to ask you, from your own experience, if you have been in any of these stakeholder engagement activities within the companies you've been working for.
In stakeholders activities, I have been a part of, but not directly. So there have been instances where as a team we have to get involved into some activities, some review activities and some audit related activities. So for that we get into a call and we have meetings to understand the complete process, and we give our feedback and we take feedback from the stakeholders, and then we therefore on basis on those feedbacks and discussions and the conclusions, then the team starts working on the next step of actions.
All right, okay, that was a good idea. That's a good activity. Okay, now we also have to look into what are the principles when it comes to applying a project management. So some of these principles might be stewardship, where we have to be diligent, respectful, and caring steward. Team, we have to look into the principle of the team, where we're going to build a culture of accountability and respect. So as we all know, working for a big company, not just a big company, even medium and small businesses, is really important to understand the culture and the nature of the business. So by fully understanding the culture of this business, we will now being able to work and being effective when it comes to doing our job. As mentioned before, we have stakeholders, where we have to engage stakeholders to understand their interests and needs. Values, where we have to focus on the values of the company and stakeholders. Holistic thinking, where we're going to recognize and respond to the system interaction. Leadership, where we're going to motivate, influence, coach, and learn. And we have tailoring, where we're going to tailor the delivery approach based on the context. And conclusively, we have quality, where we're going to build quality into the process and results. Then we have more features of our principles, such as complexity, where by complexity is just going to address the complexity when it comes to using knowledge. Opportunities and threats, where they're simply going to address any type of opportunity and threat within the organization. And then there are adaptability and resilience, where we're going to be adaptable and resilient through any type of challenge. And there are change management, which will allow us to change activity to envision future states. Okay, after looking into what are these principles and more features such as the life cycle, we can now create a formal project plan where we're going to use WSP, which we mentioned in the previous session, where it is just simply the process of subdividing our task project into smaller chunks of project in order for us to achieve them in a quicker way. So by having these smaller tasks, smaller components, some of the inputs that might be required for us is to have an effective plan, project management plan. We have to have an appropriate documentation. Then we have to be in a really good enterprise environment, and which will have factors that might be beneficial to us. And then we have to have organizational process assets. And we have to have assets that will allow us to achieve our task in less time possible. Then we have to look into the tools and techniques which will be really important when developing a project. We have to be in expert judgment. So with an expert judgment, we can recognize what could be the risks management. Also, we can also estimate how the project will look like. And then we have decomposition, where is basically pretty much the same concept of breaking down into smaller tasks and focusing on working into them. And the outcome that we'll have from using a WPBS, we can now achieve our scope, and then we will have a project documents updates where all our records will be up to date. So when it comes to evaluating different rules within our project team, we have to start by looking into how to develop a team and what are the good parts and the weak points of our team. So by developing a team is simply the process purely concentrate on the development of team, bonding and assigning them with the rewarding work, future opportunities and career development. So when we work with our team, we always have to motivate them and ensure that the work they've been done will be rewarded, will not just be neglected. So it also helps in enhancing the overall team performance by improving the team members' competency, interaction, and the environment. So some of the inputs that will come from developing an effective team, we now have to have good resources for develop project plan. We have to look into documentation where we'll see what we've been learning, the assignments, and the overall team chapter. Also, we'll have enterprise environment factors where you'll be involved in our HR management policies. And then we have also organizational process assets, where we mentioned the culture and historical information regarding the organization. So some tools that will be managed from the team will be beneficial of the team is a co-location, virtual team, where the team can work remotely, communication technology, where we're going to have effective information systems, interpersonal and team skills. So this aspect is really important because it's classified as an asset. By having a skillful team, will be then easier to achieve our goals. Then the output that we'll receive is would be a team performance assessment, change requirements, which will occur by seeing what is going wrong and what has to be improved, change management plan updates, project documents updates. Also, we're going to have enterprise environmental factors update and organizational process assets updates. Now we're going to look into the tools which we mentioned yesterday, some of them, but now we're going to look into some of them. So what I've used personally, my personal experience was Gantt chart on Microsoft Excel. Then also Trello. So from my past experience, I've been using these two. And then, yeah, Niti, you did share with us other two of them, which were Jira. One of them is Jira.
Yeah, and the other one was ALM. But yeah, that is more of a test management, but Jira is a project management tool.
Yeah, thank you. So as you can see here, there's a list of them: MS Project, Scoro, Freedcamp, Podio, Zoho, Basecamp, Jira, Trello, Asana, Wyrick. And as you can see here, some of the advantages of using Jira is to create a user stories and issues, plan sprints, easier distributed of tasks, powerful and customized workflow, integration with flexible REST IPs, centralized your team communication and advanced reporting. So we can see also into costs of working with this tool, which could look quite expensive if it comes to an annual subscription for enterprises. And these are most of the companies that are working with this tool, such as IBM, LinkedIn, BuzzFeed, WeWork, and Snapdeal. So this was everything for today's session. Is there any question for me?
No, Victor. Thank you.
Okay.